This all has far-reaching consequences in terms of coming to understand Christianity not as a fundamentally new religion, which is being invented whole cloth and thus maturing and evolving as it grows, but as a movement which sees itself as the correction of a problem which has been plaguing the children of Israel for at that point nearly 1,000 years. The failure of the 12 tribes to stay on the journey of the way of the life of faithfulness to Torah. I am choosing those words to mirror one of the catchphrases we have here on our show, quite intentionally. I want to make clear, Apostolic Christianity associated being faithful to Torah as being identical with being faithful to the Evangelion of Jesus. Christianity is born as a major reformation of what we would now call Judaism, although during the Second Temple era, there were many incompatible sects, each of which was seeking to be the restoration of the children of Israel. This is not a new religion out of whole cloth, making it up as they go and allowing doctrine and practices to mature and to evolve over time. Quite the opposite. This is an old religion, which has been allowed to drift and devolve, which is being corrected back to a known, single, true course. Yes, the influx of a great many persons of the nations into this movement required quickly coming to an understanding of what it was going to look like to reconstitute the 10 lost tribes with these persons. It was going to require quickly coming to an understanding of whether these persons would keep Torah as those under the Old Covenant, or whether they would keep it as foreigners and sojourners. After all, Torah has commandments for both of these groups of people. God had a plan, of course, and this is why the 12th apostle, St. Paul, is a scholar of the first order who has the education and the acumen to help the others, along with the early bishops such as St. James, the brother of the Lord in the flesh, who was the bishop of Jerusalem, to resolve these questions as we see at the Council of Jerusalem, which is recounted in the 15th chapter of the Acts of the Apostles. It is always important to remember, without casting any fault on St. Matthias, the 11 disciples choosing to cast lots to divine who would replace Judas is never described as something that God told them to do, nor is it held up as something God honored. Icons of the apostles have 12 figures, and St. Paul is always clearly one of them. Which is not me saying St. Matthias is not a saint. That is not me saying that St. Matthias is not an apostle. I'm saying the other 11 inadvertently created 13, and they shouldn't have. They were impatient, and they should have waited for God to tell them what to do instead of taking it upon themselves to cast lots.